Right then, boys, we are finally talking about the Animal Lord. This is the first of the new monsters in the 2024 Monster Manual, because they needed to make up for the lost space when they deleted the orcs and the drow. And what did they try to replace it with? A furry. There is no other reason for this to be in the book other than furries. That is it. Right? So, I'm not going to go over the entire sheet. Actually, I probably will, but I'll try not to. It's a massive sheet because it's 3-in-1. Because these Animal Lords, right, they get to pick a form. Here we are, Animal Lordship. An Animal Lord represents a forager, hunter, or sage animal. Okay? What I love about these, though, is if you pick the forager, you could be a bee, or a capybara, or a carp. Like, could you imagine... There's a sloth as well. Could you imagine, like, a bee Animal Lord? What would that even look like? Would that be a bee that looks like a dude? Like that guy in The Simpsons? Or would it just be a giant bee? Because what I find hilarious about this, if we go to its actual stats, right? It has a swim speed of 60 feet, right? Regardless of whatever form it takes. So the bee is going to be swimming at 60 foot per round. How does it do that? We'll never know. Okay, it's got a fly speed of 60 foot. It's a hover speed, actually. So the capybara is going to be hovering around. It's a CR20, so it's the highest CR creature we've covered so far. We're only 4 monsters in, so that doesn't really mean anything. 19 AC, might as well say 0. 323 HP, might as well say 0. To be fair, that is average for a CR20 monster, so I won't hold that against it. 19 initiative, plus 19 initiative, so a passive initiative of 29, very good. Saving throws, whatever. It's got plus 13 to acrobatics, athletics, plus 18 to perception, actually. Plus 13 to stealth, very good. Resistant to cold, fire, necrotic, psychic, and radiant. Immune to charmed, frightened, and stunned. 120 foot true sight. Passive perception 28. Pretty solid stats. Very perceptive and very mobile stats. Defensively, does have magic resistance, though, so that's good. Now, legendary resistance, 4 a day. Average. Lordly Presence is the first ability we're going to look at that depends on what form the Animal Lord takes. So it's a 30-foot aura, okay, with a DC 20 Wisdom saving throw. The Forager charms and incapacitates. The Hunter frightens, and the Sage deals a tickle of psychic damage. 10 psychic damage. It's like the Aboleth all over again. And the target is magically bewildered until the end of its next turn. While bewildered, the target subtracts 1d4 from its saving throws. That's really not that effective. The charm one also incapacitates you, I think, is the winner here by a long margin. But while we're on this, can we just talk about the 2024 redesign or rewording of the saving throw abilities? Because they tried to make it simpler, but I actually don't think they have. Right? So here's what I mean. If I read the Lordly Presence word for word in the 2024 version, here's what it sounds like. Wisdom saving throw, DC 20. Any enemy that starts its turn in a 30-foot emanation originating from the Animal Lord. Failure. The target suffers one of the following effects. I get that's not that hard to understand, but it reads weird. If this was 2014, it would have probably read something along the lines of any creature hostile to the Animal Lord that starts its turn within 30 feet of it must succeed a DC 20 Wisdom saving throw or suffer one of the following effects. I guess I stumbled, but I honestly think the way that the 2014 saving throws were worded was actually easier to understand. Or at least easier to read. Anyway, that's my rant over. Magic resistance, wonderful. So, let's have a look at its actions, the DPR and all that nerd shit. It has a rend attack with a plus 13 to hit, means it's always going to hit. It deals an average of 21 damage, or it has a Radiant Ray, which deals 20 damage. Tickle damage. Pathetic. It only has 2 attacks, too. So that means that from without its legendary actions, right, just doing its 2 attacks, it's doing like 40 damage. But it does add the Animal Spirit ability to the end of it, okay? Now let's read how the animal spirit ability is worded, shall we? Let's see if this is easy to understand. Are you following along? Because I'm not going to put it on the screen. The Animal Lord conjures an animal spirit that strikes at a creature then disappears. Dexterity saving throw DC 20. One creature the Animal Lord can see within 120 feet. Failure 28. 4d10 plus 6 radiant damage. Success half damage. Failure or success. One of the following effects occurs. Bro. Anyway, these following effects are Fortified from the Forager. The Animal Lord gains 20 temporary hit points. What a pathetic amount of hit points. Why even bother at that point? 20 temporary hit points? Are you kidding me? Bro, that's nothing for this level. Like, that's absolute. A level 10 character can flick that off of you. Just. My god. Marked as prey, hunter only. The Animal Lord has advantage on attack rolls against the target until the start of the Animal Lord's next turn. That's very good. Decent. I like that. Pesky Swarm. It's like a black dragon. Sage only. Never mind, I had a brain aneurysm then just thinking about why a sage animal would have a pesky swarm. I don't know. The target has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of its next turn. Also not too bad. But unfortunately the Animal Lord's AC is 19. The average level 20 character has like a plus 14 to hit, so that disadvantage still ain't gonna do much. Honestly, the hunter wins this one. He gets the advantage on attack rolls. Pretty good, pretty decent. He's gonna need it. Spellcasting. It can do spellcasting, right. Another rant incoming. Because this monster is the first of many, many monsters in this book that's been given spellcasting, so WotC can pat themselves on the back for doing it. But the spells they've been given, though they make thematic sense, are mechanically useless. Let's have a look what it has. Animal friendship. The only scenario I can ever see this being useful is if your hunter has a beast companion and the Animal Lord makes it not attack him. If you don't have that in your party, which why would you? Because no one plays a ranger. That's the most... Animal messenger and speak with animal, right? You could do all these animal spells. It makes thematic sense. They probably patted themselves on the back when they're doing that. Oh, well done us. Oh, we're so good. We know exactly how our game works. Bro. It's an Animal Lord. These abilities should just be built in. Right? You could just flavor... You don't have to have them cast a spell to speak with an animal. You don't have to have them cast a spell to, befriend and charm animals. This is just the sort of thing that you would expect from an Animal Lord. Bro. Okay, I get it. For you rules lawyers out there that want to play everything by the book, okay, you can find some use for these. Sure, if you want to do everything rules as written, great. Twice a day they could do Awaken. Not bad. Greater Restoration, very good. Decent spell. Nothing against it. But then they get a 1 a day each, which only is given to the Sage, and not the Hunter or the Forager, where they get animal shapes. I actually confess I don't have a clue what that spell is. And Sunburst, which is not bad. Now, I'm kind of confused about the whole, foresty, radiant theme. I get, these are Celestials. You really expect them to be Fae. Why are they not Fae? I don't get it. They're called Immortal Regent of the Wild. I don't understand why these are not Fae. Whatever. Bonus actions. They can shapeshift. Great. Legendary actions, they get 3 of them. They get a Feral Strike. They can move up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks and makes a rend attack. This is good. Good. Good shit. Too bad the rend attack only does 21 damage. But it's good otherwise. Good mechanically, okay? Now let's try and do some mental maths here and work out its DPR if it does 3 of these. It's 105, I think. I could be wrong. Does it matter? That's not bad as long as it's over 100. But this is a legendary monster. And when you compare this DPR to the other, the CR20 ancient dragons that are out there, the ancient white dragon, I feel like this thing is lacking a lot in the DPR department. Wait a minute. I forgot the animal spirit. Sorry. Add 28 to that. Now it's good. But that's only if they fail the DC 20 dexterity saving throw. It could also do a radiant ray attack. Very simplistic, very basic, very much an afterthought that was tacked on to the end of it. Let's talk about synergy, okay? Because we don't just look at the stats, we look at the synergy. How well does this thing work as a monster with other monsters thematically and mechanically in this exact book? Nothing from other party, like software. What the hell am I on about? Software? Bro. Nothing from third-party books and nothing from like expansions and things like that. I'm literally talking about this like it's a video game. WotC's melted my brain. You know what I mean, right? Anything outside the monster manual don't count. This was a cut, okay, and I've been sat here for 20 minutes trying to think of a good synergy for this thing. You can have treants, which I think is CR 9. Not bad. I don't really see them working with actual Celestials. They are Celestials, so you could throw in a Deva. Or a Planetar. Maybe a Solar, I don't know. But obviously these things are going to be more like, not a BBG. You know what I see these things as? Right. They are like a quest giver. They're like a protector of the wilds, and they're like, excuse me, mortals, but there's a hag corrupting my forest. I could defeat them myself with my, 20 damage a hit, but I want you to do it, and I will give you a boon. That sort of thing. I don't actually see you fighting these guys unless you're like a murder hobo, but then at that point, if you've got a murder hobo group, and the DM pulls out the furries to try and stop them, you're just encouraging more murder hoboing, I'm not going to lie. And these things ain't going to do a very good job at stopping your group unless your group's like level 5. So, there's foresty creatures. The only problem is that I find, once you get to the high CR monsters, it's very hard to synergize them with other monsters in the book, because most of the monsters in this book are low CR. Right? It is massively disproportionate that you have these really low CR monsters compared to high CR monsters, so all they're going to do is bog down the combat and not actually offer anything of value. Just give them a bunch of treants. Awakened tree... What's the point? They could do awakened shrubbery, awakened tree... Waste of time. Utter waste of time. They're too weak. You could give them druids, but they're also... Like, druids are CR2. What are they going to do? Right? I wouldn't synergize them with hags. They're like the exact opposite of a hag. Honestly, they're uglier than a hag too. I'm putting these things in C tier. I'm not gonna lie. It's a C tier monster. What is it doing here? What is it? Huh? Like, I was gonna make an entire video. This is an entire video on them. I was gonna make a longer video on them, like a brass bestiary video. No. Nah. Right, that's it.